fact, hit that. Yep. Can I sell my lease early? We're live on all 4 platforms, and we're going to start with this question. Great question. Some of you have leases that you're in right now, and you want to know, can I get out of it early? Now, normally the answer is no, you can't get out early because you're breaking a contract. But in the case of selling your lease, you can get out, and if you can sell it and break even, you can get out without penalty. If you can sell it and make a profit, even better, but don't bank on that. So what you want to do is do your equity assessment, because some people, if you didn't know you could sell a lease, type me in the comments. So you might be looking at this question we got on TikTok and say, dang, I didn't even know we could sell a lease. So if you did not know you could sell a lease, type a question mark, because this is new information to some of you. So the way you're selling a lease is, see, you have an option to buy. Good to see you, Marvin. And you also have an option to sell. We very rarely, almost never, exercise our option to buy a lease. Almost never. But we usually always exercise our option to sell. And so the way we're going to do this is we need to see, what is the market value? Now, I never want you to use algorithms to find out the market value of our vehicles. I want you to get bids, because the benefit of cars over houses is you can get cash offers from people who will pay you cash for your car, no obligation to take those offers. So that means you can actually see what people will pay for your car, and the people I'm about to list pay the most money for cars. You're going to get 6 bids, take you about 20 minutes while you sit at home, and that's going to tell you the market value of your car. So the first thing you're going to do is call your bank. You're going to get your payoff. Don't look at your contract. Don't look at the residual value. That's not important. What's important is your payoff. So you're going to call the leasing company, ask for your payoff. And the second question you're going to ask is, do I have a third party restriction? Both of those people can sell no matter what answer you get. But if you have a third party restriction, it restricts who you can sell to. So as soon as you hang up that call, you're now going to go to CarMax.com, Driveway.com, AutoNation, Sell My Car, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, and Car Guru, Sell My Car. That's going to get you 6 offers in 20 minutes. Every one of those sites, if it asks you, is the car owned, leased, or financed, you're going to put owned. Once you see what those offers are, you're going to know what the market value is. You'll be able to see if you can break even, you can possibly get out. If you have no third party restriction, you can sell to them. If you break even, you can get out. But for those of you who have a third party restriction, and some leasing companies do not, Chase, Toyota, there's a few leasing companies out there with no third party restriction. I still think what they did is illegal. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe there'll be a class action lawsuit, because we still don't understand how they changed thousands, in fact, probably millions of leasing contracts mid-contract. We need to know, were those third party restriction clauses in there from the start, or did they somehow get in there when they saw people selling their leases making money? We need to know that. That's another story for another day. But if you don't have a third party restriction and you can sell to them, break even, you're out of the lease anytime you want. If you have a third party restriction, you're going to use those offers. And now you're going to say, because of restrictions mean you have to sell to a dealership of the same brand. That's what a third party restriction is. You must, if you have a Nissan, you must sell to a Nissan dealership. Here's what it doesn't mean. You're going to sell to one dealership. Here's another thing it doesn't mean. All dealerships are going to make you the same offer for that Nissan. So if you go into that one Nissan dealer and say, well, I can only work with you, then you're going to leave money on the table. And part of understanding how this works is to understand that every dealer is different. Some of you may think, oh, I thought every Nissan dealer was the same. I thought they were like all one. No, they're not. They're all different. And that's how we win, because we get bids and we put these people against each other. So that is the steps you would take to see if you can sell your lease early. And that's called the equity assessment. That's step 2 in my process. My process for you is 7 steps. So everything I'm going to answer today is going to be based on one of the 7 steps in my process, which is about getting bids and car shopping from home and doing 90 to sometimes 100% of your transaction from home. And so that's all in my new book, digital book, Car Shopping for People Who Hate Car Shopping. You can cue the next question up, Dolan, shoot the next one in. We're bringing questions from everywhere. I'll manually read the questions on Facebook because we were having some trouble going live on Facebook. But you can all get a copy of my new book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. It's a digital book, and it's 75% off while you're on here. It's 30 minutes. You can get it for 75% off. It's normally $97. You can get it for $24 for 30 minutes. All right, go ahead, Dolan, shoot it up. All right, keep the questions coming, y'all. We're going to try to get through as many as we can in an hour. This one's from Instagram. My lease is up, but my credit score went down. How can I get another lease with the same company? All right, great question. Mercedes was big on forgiving people if they made their car payments on time. There was so many times someone would come in and they would say, Deshone, you know what? Credit score went down. I said, well, how'd you pay the Mercedes? Oh, great. Never missed a payment on the car. 99 times out of 100, you're getting approved with Mercedes. Many people are like that because not many things. Could y'all keep tapping the screen, run the likes up on TikTok? I appreciate y'all. Many times, a bank, besides your credit score, probably the second indicator for a bank of if you're going to pay is if you've paid your car. So your credit cards could be behind. It could be kind of, if you got a good history with your car, you got a good history of getting approved. Now, the second thing is if you missed a couple payments on the car, I would still take the shot because in this economy, people realize, over the last couple months, as long as you're not trying to go up in payment, I take a shot. If you're going from a $500 payment and you're, staying there or going lower, then I take the shot for sure. If you're going from 5 to 7 and you've missed payments, that's going to be tough. So I would try to be out. And if you don't need a car right now, you lease it. Now, here's what you do. First of all of you should be following Shonda Martin. Can somebody type her name? Because I know somebody on here follows her. She's on every platform. Her brand is Road to 750 Plus. So here's what you do. Call and extend your lease. Most leasing companies will give you a free extension. Shout out to y'all running the likes up on TikTok. Appreciate y'all tapping the screen. Call and get a free extension for 2 reasons. 1, it'll buy you some time. Get with Sean to see if you can raise your credit score. 2, if you don't have, if it'll buy you some time. It's just, I don't like shopping with our backs against the wall. Unless your car got stolen, car got totaled, we don't like to shop in emergency situations. We still win. You use what I'm telling you, start getting bids, you can get your best offer in 3 or 4 days. So don't worry about that. My book will teach you how, and everything you'll learn from me is if I need a car in 3 or 4 days Deshone, what do? Get bids, get the lowest offer in the market. But if you have the luxury of time, that benefits you. The luxury of time when shopping is a benefit. So see if you can get that extension, and then go for it. Try to keep your lease with shop bids, and you might be able to lower your payment because many of you, I haven't made a video about this yet, but I want to tell y'all this before we go to the next question. Many of you overpaid in 2020, 2021 for your leases. So you're going to be surprised when you use these strategies. Some of you are going to get the same version of the car that you have now, and you're going to drop your payment $150, $200. And I want you to know this before you start getting the calls from the salespeople who are going to try to keep you in that car or upgrade you and keep your payment around the same. Many people, you're getting those calls. Who's getting those calls right now? Hey, Jim, your lease is not up for another 6 months, but what if I could get you in a new version, keep your payment around the same? That's always the entry point. And they're listening. No way, man. I want to drop my payment. That's not enough, though. By how much? You get what I'm saying? So when you get bids, some of you are going to see, dag, I was paying $700. I'm getting bids now, and I'm getting a similar car for $500, $550. All right, shoot the next question up, Dolan. And we'll take one from Facebook because I know we still can't access Facebook. So let's, I'll do these questions manually. This one's from TikTok. Need help. My wife just totaled our car and now I need help on how to properly go about getting a car. That's very broad. First thing you're going to ask yourself, I want everybody to answer this. How many years are you keeping your next car? This is the most important question. You're going to hear me say that when you hear and when you're talking to somebody, once you learn these and once you use these to get deals, your first question is also what I call the most important question, which is how many years are you keeping the car? So let's see some answers. How many years are you keeping in the, and let's be intentional, not vague, not as long as I can until, like, literally how many years, what's the goal? Okay, at least 5. 8, okay. 5, okay. Keeping the car for 5. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of 5s. I see Marion 10. Okay. If you're not keeping your car 8 years or longer, then you should be leasing. It's not even a question. Now, whatever that triggered in you based on your experience, if you're like, Deshone, I heard you should never lease, we're going to explain to you how bad of information that was. Very bad information, and you're overpaying for short-term depreciation. So the first question you're going to ask is, how many years am I keeping my car? Because there is no way I can teach you to get the lowest price in the market on a used car if you want, on a brand new car if you want, on a lease. No problem. We've been doing that for 3 years, thousands of people. That's no problem. If you buy when you should have leased, there's no way for you to get a great deal. It's over. I use Danielle as an example. Matter of fact, we did Danielle. Let's go to Taupe. I use Taupe as an example. $54,000 BMW. She's paying $690 a month. Some of you know every $5,000 on a car purchase is $100 a month. So when you're looking at a $54,000, let's say $55,000 car, that's an $1,100 a month payment for 5 years. She's paying $690. Even if you went in, this is why if you buy when you should have leased, then you lost. Even if a person went in and got them to knock $10,000 off the price of that new BMW, and they got out of there for $45,000, taxes, they're going to be probably 48, almost 50. They're still at $950, $975 a month. She's paying $690. If they bought a used version of this vehicle, instead of 54, maybe they find a nice used one for, let's say, 35,000. 35,000, taxes put you about 38. You're looking at about 690, almost 7. I'm sorry, 35, 38. Every 5,000 is $100. You're looking at about 750. She's paying 690. And a used BMW with almost 1 year left of the warranty, it's no way the quality of what they're driving is the same. Now, when does the person who bought wins? Because in the short term, Taupe's paying $690. The person who bought a brand new one's paying $1,000. The person who bought a 3-year-old used one is paying $750. She's killing all of them. She's killing both of them by far, keeping a lot of money in her pocket. She's nothing going wrong with the car. Anything breaks, she comes, drops it to the dealership. She got a brand new car, full warranty. There's no way to get a great deal when you purchase, but you should have leased. And she knows how to get great lease deals. She gets bids. So don't think, because some of you might say, Deshone, well, that doesn't look like the deal I saw in the commercial. That's because commercials are not deals. Scrap that. You're never going to see a great deal on a commercial. Never. The great deals are when the dealership barely wants to make them. They don't even want anyone to know about them. They just, I've in the past, when I was at Mercedes, I had to tell some people, listen, please, I'd love for you to send me your friends and family, but don't tell them what you're paying, because I probably can't duplicate that. When somebody got a great deal, we weren't telling them, go tell your friends and family, we'll give them the same deal. If they're telling you, I'll give your friends and family the same deal, that means it wasn't a great deal. Sorry to tell you. If you were able to match, dealerships don't like doing deals like this, and they certainly don't want to do many of them. So that's why your foundation, your most important question, it's step one in my book. It's step one whenever you'll hear me talk, is how many years am I keeping the car? If you're not keeping the car 8, then you're paying ridiculous depreciation. Your car's value is here, and around 8 years it starts to cool. 6, 7 years it's going to start to level out a little bit. You lose less value, and if you're switching your cars here, buying them here, and then you're trading them out anywhere between here, you're losing tons of money. We call that the unseen expense, depreciation. That's why the unseen expense. You buy a car today for 30. What is it worth 30 tomorrow? Yes or no? It's the unseen expense. You buy a car today for 30,000. Is it worth 30 tomorrow? Yes or no? Exactly. Gonzalez, you can't hear. Everyone else can hear. So I don't know what's up with your audio. So that's what everything we do from now on. My job is to teach you how to get the lowest prices in the market. And it's also to teach you where the hidden money is in your car deals, the money you haven't seen. And one of the largest amounts is depreciation. So for those of you who are not keeping your cars 8 years, your goal should be to shop and get a great lease deal, not a regular lease deal, not an advertised lease deal. And so if you're keeping your car long-term, 8+ years, then you should not be thinking about leasing at all. Okay? Everybody clear on that? Type clear if we're clear. 8 year, I call that the 8-year rule. You're going to hear me talk about 3 things that are all the same. The first question, the most important question, the 8-year rule. They're all the same. All right? Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next question up. We're bringing them from all 4 platforms. This one's from YouTube. I drive an average of 22 to 25,000 miles a year. Would leasing still be a viable option for me? Great question. When I worked at Hyundai and I was a manager there for 6 weeks, owner ended up getting indicted. It was like all I needed was 6 weeks before God told me, son, this is not the place for you. But I learned something very important there. I was helping a person who returned their lease. He had like 70-something thousand miles on his Hyundai, and he was returning the lease. And I said, did you lease this? He said, yeah, all I do is lease. Said, I'm in sales. I'm on the road, 25,000 miles a year almost. All I do is lease. I used to buy my cars. I was losing so much money. The depreciation, because think about that depreciation, y'all. For the regular person, it looks like this. The value of your car is like this. For the high mileage driver, it's like this. They're going to destroy that value in 3 years, right? So he was explaining this to me, and I'm listening. And then I looked at what he was paying, and I'm like, it looks like he got a great Hyundai deal, right? And then he paid additional, maybe $175, and he got his high mileage lease. And I said, I got to tell everybody I know about this, because I was dealing with high mileage drivers coming back who wasn't leasing, who had all this negative equity. And I'm like, we got to do something different here. So he comes in, and that's when I started, diving in and seeing that for the short term, high mileage driver, short term means you are not keeping the car 8 years. It doesn't change. Most important question, first question, 8-year rule, all the same. If you say, Deshone, I drive 20, 25,000 miles a year, how many years you keep in the car? Probably 10. Then there's no need to lease. You can find a car that you can put 200 to 250,000 miles on in 10 years. They're out there. Get one of those. But if you're saying, Deshone, I'm not keeping it 8 years, I'm going to keep it 5. Then you should absolutely be shopping for a lease. I have 2 strategies for the short-term high mileage driver that's going to be better than you doing what you've been doing. Some people will tell you make high down payments. Bad, because you're just throwing more money at the car you won't get back. Some people tell you take shorter loans. Instead of 5- and 6-year loans, take 4-year loans so you won't have negative equity later. Both of those solutions involve you throwing more money at the car that you're not going to get back. The 2 strategies that I teach is, 1, the high mileage lease. You're going to shop, get your offers. We always shop with 12,000. That's what we do. We get multiple offers. We get at least 5. we get at least 5 because 80% of dealers are overpriced. You're not going to see that until you start getting multiple offers. When you start getting multiple offers, you're going to see that 80% are overpriced. We don't try to change them. We expose them. So once you see that, you're going to find the dealers that offer the best prices. You can do that manually by calling sales managers and getting multiple offers, or you can do it my way. In my book, I have a strategy called 25 to 5. We do everything online, and you're using my scripts and my email templates. So it's hard for me to break that down for y'all because I wrote these email templates. So either way, you get to the goal of at least 5 offers. Once you have the best offer, you're then going to adjust that offer to a high mileage offer with that dealer. You're going to let the dealer know, hey, I'd like to adjust the mileage from 12 to 18,000, please. Hey, I'd like to adjust from 12 to 25. And that's what you do. We've had tons of people that do that. Compared to purchasing, it's thousands. I helped a guy do this 3 years ago, and he was like, man, that changed my life because he was buying luxury cars, high mileage, BMW. He went from that to an Audi A7 high mileage lease. And when we did the math, he was saving like $15,000. And so it's not a question. Second thing I teach is it's called 2 cars, 1 payment for you high mileage drivers. You don't want this doesn't apply to Uber and Lyft. So let's put it like if you're in business and you're putting thousands of miles on your car a month for business, different. I'm talking to regular people who like to shine. I'm in sales. I'm a realtor. I'm always on the road. This is for you. Second strategy is 2 cars, 1 payment. You're going to get 1 car. The first car is the purchase. It could be a new, pre-owned, doesn't matter. And that's going to be your mileage car. You pay that car off 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and then you go lease the second car. Now you got the mileage car, and now you got the second car. That's your nice car. And so you're putting maybe $12,000 a year on your lease, maybe $15,000 on your mileage car, and you're just doing that. You always have 1 payment. You're not having it's a manageable payment at all times, and people love that. There's no right or wrong with those 2 strategies. It's just which one you think is best for you. Both of those you will absolutely love. It's very predictable. You can count your costs. You know what you're paying, and scrap everything else. That is in my book for you high mileage drivers. In case y'all don't know, my new digital book is called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. Throw the next question up on the screen, Dolan. Please. It's called 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships, because everything we do, 90% of it is from home, sometimes 100, but we can't do 100 with used cars. And all our deals are made from home. We don't spend more than 30 minutes in car dealerships. We get bids. We make people bid for our business. And you can get your book for 75% off for the next 30 minutes. In my TikTok bio or in my Instagram bio, there's a website. Get your book for 75% off. You won't pay the normal $97 price, $24. And for those of you who are on Facebook and Instagram, I put the link Facebook and YouTube, I put the link right here for you guys. And you can get yours, deshonsbook.com. All right, this one's from Instagram. What if you sell a lease from a Jeep dealership to a BMW? Does that work against you? You cannot sell a lease if you have no third party. Like I sold my Jeep. They didn't have a third party restriction, but Jeep has many leasing companies. They have Chrysler Capital. They have Cal. They have credit unions that do leasing for them. So it depends on when you when you do the equity assessment. I think we started with that. That was the first thing we talked about in the show. So watch the broadcast on YouTube or Facebook if you missed that part. When you do your equity assessment, you're going to ask them, do I have a third party restriction? If you do not, then you can sell to anybody you want. Not a person. You can sell to any of the companies I mentioned. You can sell to another dealership, but you should be getting bids. I would not be selling. See, that sounds like a trade. That's what that sounds like. That sounds like you saw a BMW, you got this old lease, and you're like, hey, I want the BMW, and I'm trying to get that lease back to them. In which case, you're not going to maximize the value of the Jeep at all. All right, go ahead. Shoot the next question up, Dolan. All right, great questions today. We're taking them from all platforms, so keep typing them. What's the best way to sell a used car? Get bids. Equity assessment. If you have a car you are replacing, The equity assessment is how we get the most for the car. It's a bidding process that we created. It was at the beginning of this video. Now, here's what I say. Once you get those offers, if your highest offer is under $10,000, then you should consider selling your car privately. You could probably get, it's not hard as you think to sell a car on Facebook Marketplace now, and you can probably get $2,000 to $3,000 more selling it privately. But that's only if you have if your car is at a price where most people could pay cash. If you got a $15,000 to $20,000 vehicle, most people can't pay cash for that. They need a loan. If you got an $8,000, $7,000, max maybe $10,000. You take a shot and you maybe get a couple $1,000s selling it on your own. But anyone else, equity assessment, I'm selling to the people. I'm getting bids. I'm getting 6 bids, and I'm going to sell to the highest offer. All right, great question. Shoot the next one up, Dolan. Oh, hold on. Let me put the emergency link here. Somebody said the link is still saying full price. That means you missed the countdown, but we came up with something for the people that missed the countdown. Let me know if you guys can see this. It's an emergency link. I'm going to type emergency because we were seeing that people will go to the page, the countdown starts, then they come back to the show and they're asking questions. And once the countdown hits 0, it's back up to $97. So try that emergency link and let me know if you can get it that way. I just put it on Facebook. Go ahead. Okay, this one's from TikTok. Reliability of Mercedes these days. Thinking about buying a 2021 A35. So you want to find out what the reliability of that particular car is. This is an extremely important step. When I worked for Mercedes, we had a Range Rover dealer next door. When I had my leasing company, new car brokerage rather, Range Rovers were in the shop all the time. People would tell me about them all the time. Now, that could be particular years. Same thing with Maseratis. Could be particular years. But if you do what I'm about to tell you to do, you have a good shot of avoiding this. See, this happens when you start asking people their opinion on cars. Can y'all keep tapping the screen, running the lights up? I see y'all running them up. The more y'all tap the screen, the more attention TikTok brings to the broadcast, the more people we get a chance to reach with this information. So I appreciate y'all running them up. When you are asking people, and I'm gonna tell you to never ask a person their opinion on a car. Not even me. I don't care who they are. A mechanic, doesn't matter. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, millions of cars are sold per year. Opinions are subjective, and there's not enough. No one person could tell you if a car is good or not. They just can't. Maybe theirs is okay. Maybe theirs is not. But most people are fine with it. So what we do is, this takes 5 minutes to do, and it'll protect you. This is in step 4 of my process called shopping, not buying. We're deciding what we want. We need to eliminate bad cars. I don't care if you're like, man, I remember years ago, people were like, there was this one person like, Deshone, I was looking at the Kia Telluride and I looked, and this particular year had electrical issues. That's kind of sending me some red flags. I said, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. Next. Maybe next year they'll fix it. This year, it has electrical issues, is what the data is saying. So you go to where the data is, which is Google. You type in the year, make, model, 2021. Same thing you just typed in, 2021 A35 AMG, initial quality. Now, if you're buying a used one, you don't have to type in initial quality, because initial quality tells what initial quality is, y'all, is what people are saying, what the data says in the first 90 days the vehicle was in the country. The first 90 days, what are people saying? What is the data showing? That's initial quality. Reliability is first 3 years. So you can check with if you're buying a pre-owned one, I check reliability for sure, because that's going to tell you the first 3 years. Google that, and then you're going to just scan those first couple articles. That's all you're going to do. Look for anything that has a red flag. Reliability score 7 out of 10. That's a little questionable. Reliability score 6 out of 10. That's questionable. So when you scan those articles, you're going to see, you don't have to read them all. You're looking for anything that stands out. Red flags, owner's report, engine misfires and cars in the shop, right? These are things that you're looking for, things that are like, oh, red flag. And now if you're buying a used car, you're going to look, after you do reliability, you're going to replace that with longevity. Longevity is going to tell you what these cars are expected to do in the long run. Transmission issues, how long they're going to last on average. That's how you find out if a car is good or not. Stop asking people. You can do what you want. You're a grown adult. I would recommend you stop asking people their opinion on cars, because it does not matter. Their opinion is not going to matter when your car is in the shop and you're like, hey, but don't get it. John told me the car was good. He said he loved his. No one's coming to your defense. Go where the data is. All right, everybody clear? Type clear if you're clear on that. That's a 5-minute process that will save you thousands of dollars in headaches. No daggone reason to go out and save thousands of dollars on a car, get a ridiculous deal, and that car's in the shop 3 times a year. It negates the whole deal, right? All right, perfect. Shoot the next one up. All right, this one's from Instagram. I want to buy my mother's lease because she has good equity in the car. How can I do it before she turns it in? Well, first of all, make her aware, and you have to do the equity assessment process, because you have to see if she has a third-party restriction. If she doesn't, and make sure you run the market value. If you did, and you're like, hey, it's a good price, then you can certainly write up, she can call a leasing company and she should be able to sell to you. You just have to find out what that process is going to look like. If they may, I don't know if they're going to require her to sell to a company, because essentially they want to prevent, like, the customer has a payoff. It's for you. So her payoff is for her. The customer, there's 2 payoffs for a lease: a dealer payoff and a customer payoff. That means the dealer can buy it for this. Any dealer, someone that has a dealer license, can buy it for this, or the customer. It's not an individual. So that means she's going to have to buy the car and then sell it to you, which is fine. And, that's the process. That's the only way you're going to get you. But if she has a third-party restriction, then she cannot sell it to you. She's going to need to get bids and, make sure she gets her equity. All right. And now, look, if she has a third-party restriction, she can still buy it herself and sell it to you. That makes sense? So call the bank, get the payoff, find out if she has a third-party restriction. And it sounds like either way, she would have to buy it and sell it to you. And if she's okay with that, then it should be very simple. Go ahead, shoot the next one. Great question. Great question. This is another one from Instagram. I'm getting emails that started at my 3-year lease anniversary on a 4-year lease. Well, first of all, never do a 4-year lease again. You're paying why don't we do 4-year leases? Because leasing is a value play. Leasing, there's 2 goals. Somebody DM me right before we came on and said, leasing, though, leasing is not good because you're not paying into equity. Thanks, though. Said it like, confidently ignorant. And when I said to him, the goal of leasing is not to build equity. Equity is a bonus. We don't bank on it, don't count on it. That's not why we lease. We lease to avoid the natural depreciation. Always think of this. Value goes down like this. When you lease, you're going to pay this much. So if I would have bought and lost this much value in depreciation, I get a great lease, I pay this much. I get an incredible lease, a steal. Every now and then we get a steal, less than 1%. I pay this much. So my natural depreciation would have been here. And the beautiful thing about leasing is it's the head. So if the value stays up, I can sell it and I'll make more money at the end. So if I do happen to have a lease that holds its value, which is very rare in cars, not something to bank on, not something to count on. But if it does happen, I'm going to sell the car at the end and make the equity myself. So, and the second goal of a lease is to drive new cars for pennies on the dollar compared to purchasing. The goal is not to build equity. So, wait, what was that question? What was that question, Dolan? Because I know me going into that answer was based on that question. If it's gone, then that's fine. Just shoot up the next one. But sometimes if you've been on the broadcast with me, you know I go deep with the answers and then I'll forget the question. All right, this is another one from TikTok. What's a good mileage to buy a used car? Okay, so when we're searching for used cars, it's a great question. What is good mileage to buy on a used car? Okay, so the goal is to get the best car you can get for your budget. So therefore, when I'm searching for my cars, if I know that my initial goal may be 20,000 and then my max goal is 28,000, in a few weeks, I will be releasing something I created called the Perfect Budget Calculator. It's in my book. So it's in step 3 of my book where we're budgeting. I can't release it now because without you knowing how to use it, it's just going to be sloppy. We need to roll that out the right way. But if I know that my initial strike price is 20,000 and then my max budget is 28,300, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, can I find a quality vehicle in that initial price? And if I can't, in that initial price, here's what it looks like. Short loan, no down payment, not using any of my equity. That's what it looks like. Next goal might be 6-year loan, but no down payment, no equity, and then we move on. And our max price is always going to be the longest loan we could take with any down payment. So as long as I know where all my goals are, I'm moving up accordingly, and I'm seeing, can I get a nice used car in this budget? And I'm usually starting out to look for about 10 or 12,000 miles per year driven. Look for about 10 or 12,000 miles a year driven, and then you go from there, and then you move up accordingly. And the way you move up, you either can go back a year or you can go up in mileage to 15,000 a year average. So start wide. We'll start with a 100-mile radius usually, and then we'll look for the newest vehicle we can get with 10 or 12,000 miles per year. And then if I don't see enough options, then I'll either go to 15,000 miles average driven per year and go back 1 year to slowly expand my options. That's typically how we're going to do it. That's typically how we're going to do it. Start with the goal to find the best and don't expand. Don't just automatically go with a 4 or 5-year-old car. Expand slowly. Sometimes I'll go to a 200-mile radius if I can't find the color I want, but I see that there's cars out here, but none of them are the color I want. That tells me the market is out here and I could find it, but I got to expand my options. I don't need to go older. If I see cars in the low range where I want them to be, but I don't see exactly what I want, I'll expand the options. But if I don't see enough choices at all, then I'm going to go back a year and I'm going to go up in mileage a little bit to see if I can expand my options. Okay. All right, go ahead. Shoot the next one. Wait, hold on. Hold that question right there. Don't take it down, Dolan. It's from Instagram. Somebody said going to buy and I got to make sure I know I'm getting Facebook manually now. I got you next, Ashley. Going to buy a 2014 SRX now, 124,000. I hope you're paying cash, and I hope that you've done, some of the steps to make sure it has a good title, great service records, great accident history. All right, go ahead. All right, so this one's from Instagram. Is it normal for a dealership to want 2,000 down for a 10K car? We don't. What's normal is for dealerships to do deals that are in their best interest and secondary for you. If you're dealing with the 80%, it's normal for them to do weird stuff. It's normal for them to overcharge people. It's normal for them to do this. So you have no shopping process and you're at the mercy of one dealer. You're tied into one car. And it sounds like you are invested in that car and you have no leverage because you have given them the signs that I want that car, not that, hey, I have multiple options. I'm looking at multiple options. I've seen 7 of that car and I can, it's just the way you shop is creating that result. And I don't know how to help you out. Listen, I'll give you an example and then we'll go to Ashley's question. Some people will call This is back when I first got out of the business and I started teaching. At a few people who would call me back then, they know now that I teach. I don't, I don't have time for calls and I don't do DMs. It's just literally I make the information available. The people who want it are going to get it. But they would call me, Deshone, I'm in this dealership right now. I'm trying to get them down on this price. What should I do? I said, walk out. Yeah, but is there any way I can get them down? Do you want my advice or you want to do what you want to do? Nah, man, I'm trying to get the best price. Okay, walk out. Because you're never going to get the best price in the dealership. And even if you think you did, you're never going to have what do we want? If anybody knows, it begins with a P. It's the most important thing. It's the guaranteeing that I paid less than everyone else. It's called price assurance. You can never have that until you start comparison shopping. You will always have a hint of buyer's remorse. If I ask you, here's the key. Did you think you got a good price on that car? Oh, yeah, I think all right. I think I did all right. Are you willing to bet $500 that you couldn't have got that car or a car like it for less money? Nah, man, I don't want to take that bet. Right. So when you look at people like this, look, when you look at people like, look, Vincent, he gets his pre-owned Lincoln. He said, bottom line, purchased a 3-year-old Lincoln Corsair, premium trim level, less than 45,000 miles, clean Carfax inspection. Look, he said, my goal was to target a discount of 30 to 35% off MSRP. That's the true value percentage. Y'all will hear me say something like that. You can't buy a used car without knowing what it cost originally because you truly don't know how much you save. He said, I found a deal for off of 43% off of MSRP at a dealership that delivered the car from one state away. Short conversation with their finance manager, all done on my terms. If I asked him, you willing to bet me 500 you couldn't have found a car like that for less? Yeah, I'll take the bet. Because he's shopping multiple offers, shopping the whole market, and he's not pulling the trigger until he knows this was the lowest price in the market. He's not invested. He probably narrowed his search down like I did with my Infiniti truck. I bought a used Infiniti. I narrowed my search down to the top 4, and then I went with the one that had the biggest discount from the brand new price. Brand new price was 54. I paid 31.8. I got a 42% discount. I'll take the bet that there was no other car in the market within 100 miles of me, 150 miles, that was a better value than that. And the only way you're going to have the confidence when you make lease deals, purchase deals for new cars, purchase deals for used cars, that you guarantee, I'll take the bet there was no other offer out there lower than this, is you need to have multiple offers. That is what gives you the price assurance. Not only that, you'll save more money quicker. 60 minutes is all it takes for us to do these deals. The internet's here. I just want to teach you how to use it the right way. This is all in my book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. It's a digital book. You can get it for 75% off. Get your copy. You won't pay $97. If you get to my TikTok bio before 30 minutes, get it for $24. You can be using this tonight. Same thing with Instagram. You could be using this tonight in my Instagram bio. And Facebook, if you're watching on TV, just scan that QR code with your phone or go to DeshonesBook.com. All right, shoot the next question in, and we'll get through. We still got some more time. Let's get through it. What I got to do? Let me take Ashley. Hold on. Ashley said I have a 2018 Escalade that needs an engine. I'm a high mileage driver. Okay, many of you are going to be in the same situation. You're going to be like, Dad, same question I was going to ask. So a lot of you are in the same situation. I have a 2018 Escalade that needs an engine. I'm a high mileage driver, so my car value is lower than my loan now. I need a new car. What do you suggest to trade in or lease? It's a 2018 Escalade. You don't need a new car. You need an engine. Here's what you're doing, Ashley. Here's what you're doing. Car's values here. Engine goes. Car's value is almost nothing. 2018 Escalade that would normally be worth several, a good amount. With no engine, it's worthless. So the worst financial decision would be to get rid of the car in that position. I mentioned my dad, he bought a GMC Envoy. It was pre-owned, 3 years pre-owned when he bought it. Engine went out maybe 3 years later. He got a mechanic, he got his mechanic, local mechanic, reputable mechanic, got him a used engine, put that engine in there about 5 years ago. Maybe 6 years ago, he's been driving it ever since. See, because we're not comparing the cost of replacing when you are doing this. If you're willing to take the hit, which is going to be a 5-figure hit, to get out of that car, an Escalade engine with an easily replaceable item that would keep that, you know, and you have a loan, you can do whatever you want to do. But the best thing for you to do is to find a local mechanic, a reputable mechanic, ask around, ask on social media, who's the shop that everyone knows. All of you who have a car, if you have a car that doesn't have a warranty, a local mechanic is a must. A local shop that you build a relationship with, that everyone knows, is a must. And I would be trying to get a used engine to get in my Escalade and keep my Escalade. You get another 5 or 6 years out of it, like my dad. Put the used engine in, been driving it, and he's about to sell it now. He's finally getting a new car, and he's had it for probably 7, 8. No, he's probably had that vehicle for close to 10 years now. That's big money that he saved versus, oh, engine went, fixable problem. I'm gonna just go get a new car, and I'm gonna get rid of this one while it's worthless, and I still got a loan. I'll take a $10,000, $15,000 loss on it. I can't recommend you do that. All right, no problem, Ashley. Go ahead. And that's all we need is a little guidance from somebody who's more experienced. All right, perfect. I needed to hear that. Let me do that. 5, 6 years from now, she'll be like, you know what? I put that engine in, paid the truck off, drove, I got another 5 years out of it. There we go. You won. All right, go ahead. Shoot the next one up, Dolan. Great questions today. Great questions. This one's TikTok. What is considered short-term in lease? 3 years. Every now and then, when we reach out to a dealership, like in my book, I have templates. We're always reaching out, and I want to go over what you're going to need to give a dealership to even get a quote. The things that you need is you're not realizing it's hard for you to shop online. One, because there's trained people who are trained to get you in the dealership or make it hard for you to shop online. But two, you're not giving them the information they need to actually compete for your business. So when you reach out, we always reach out for a 3-year lease, 39 months as well. We let them know by email. We're open to 39 months. And we shop our leases with 12,000 miles. First payment due at signing only, taxes and fees in the payment. And if they have a great 2-year program, they'll tell you because they know their program. So if they say, man, you know what? Nissan just put out a great 2-year lease program. They know a great lease program. And they'll say, hey, you open to it? But other than that, we don't explore it. We don't go and ask them for 2-year lease because 99 times out of 100, they're overpriced. We're not going to get good value out of them. So it's going to be 3 years or 39 months. We don't do really longer than that. 42 months, no, that's 3.5 years. 4 years, no, because one of the benefits of leasing is the short-term ability to switch, always having a new car, and once we're in the car for 3.5 years, it's like we're getting to the point where we've eliminated some of the benefits and we're paying too much for a car that we're going to be giving back. So 3 years is what we do. And if you cannot find a car for 3 years, if you tell me, Deshone, I need a car for 1 year, then you should be buying a very inexpensive used car, $5 grand, $7 grand, $8 grand, 10 grand maybe, because any other car that you buy and expect to trade it in 2 years or a year, it's not going to happen. That's the depreciation curve. You're buying it here, Deshone, I need to keep it until here. Okay, that's your loss right there, though. You don't start winning until 7, 8 years is when it starts cooling off. So if you don't get to the 8-year mark, then you should not be buying $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 cars at all. You're either going to have a long-term view and win long-term, or you're going to have a short-term view, 3 years, and you're going to win with aggressive leases. Anything in between besides that, like I said, those, we call them smart cars, saving money at the right time. I'll get in, a little bit of money, $5 grand, $7 grand, I could swap out of that, no problem. But going in and buying these $15,000, $20,000 cars, you can't beat depreciation. it's going to be you. And now you're trained to see it. Before you're like, why am I losing? It's because you don't see the unseen expense, which is depreciation. That's what's killing you short-term buyers. All right, go ahead, shoot it up, Dolan. Great question. Let me see Facebook because we're doing Facebook manually. See, Billy said, had to transfer some money. Could you put up the emergency link again, please, before you go? Yes, absolutely. Yes, here is the emergency link. I'm putting it on Facebook. For those of you who missed the 75% off for your book, I'm putting the emergency link here. Dang, now it's not coming up. Hold on. And let me make sure. All right, there you go. It's up. Okay. This one's from Facebook as well. Oh, all right. We finally got Dolan was able to get some questions from Facebook. All right. What will be a good interest rate on a 2024 GMC 1500? There's no way. That's a lot. All right. This is a good question. What will be a good interest rate on a 2024 GMC 1500 700 plus score? The same way we don't know how much we're going to save off that vehicle, we don't know what the lowest in the market is. We don't know what the lowest offer in the market is. We get bids to see. And there's 3 steps in what I call the bank bidding war. First thing you're going to do is see, does GMC have any special interest rates? Whenever you're looking for a car, there's 3 steps in this bank bidding war where we have multiple banks and credit unions fight it out for our interest rate, for our loan, because there's a lot of money in loans. If you're buying that's about a $70,000, $80,000 truck, depending on how much you finance, literally 1 point on the interest rate might be $200 to $2,500. 1 point. So if you're not taking shopping for your loan as serious as you're taking shopping for the price of the car, you're going to lose thousands of dollars. So we bid. Now, if you check and you see GMC's running 0.99, there's no reason to shop anywhere else. No one's going to beat that. That's like a finance rebate. That's always the first thing we do. Check, is there any special interest rates on the car? Certified pre-owned car, any special interest rates? If we see that, that eliminates the need to get bids. Now, we don't always buy certified pre-owned cars because if they're not priced competitively, we're not overpaying to get a certified pre-owned car. So sometimes you'll see $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 more for the certified pre-owned. No, we'll buy a quality car that's not certified pre-owned and be in a better financial situation. But once you find your best offer and you get your bids on that truck, whoever wins the bid, we get at least 5 offers. In my book, I call this the 25 to 5 strategy. We connect with 25 dealers online. It takes us about 20 minutes. And within 48 hours, we're going to have at least 5 to 7 offers. Once we identify where the best offers from, that is the person we're going to get the purchase order from, buyer's order that has all the numbers written up, and we are going to call our bank, our credit union, or go online, and we're going to start letting people access our credit. It's never before. No one is ever touching our credit before we have found the vehicle we're buying. There's no hard pulls ever before we have found the vehicle we're buying. You don't need hard pulls to get offers. You don't need hard pulls to get quotes. Deshone, they told me I did. They lied to you. You don't need them to get quotes. And if you do what I'm telling you to do, you will expose. Oh, look, you got to understand that you need to unlearn anything that is not what I'm saying. Test my stuff until it doesn't work. That's what you do. I'm telling you that you bring me your goal and then you test what I'm telling you until it doesn't work. Don't add to what I'm telling you. Don't make up your own. All right, I'm going to just freestyle this part here. Don't do that. Take what I'm telling you, use it, and then you'll see the difference. But you can't mix what I'm telling you with the old way that you used to buy. It's not going to work. You have to do all of what I'm saying because I have this thing to a process. It's like McDonald's. You can't go in and just say, oh, well, I know I'm supposed to take the fries out when the thing starts beeping, but I think the people might like the fries a little less well done. I'm going to take them out early. You can't. Don't take the fright. When you hear the beep, that's what it is. So this is how you do the bank bidding war. You're going to find your car, come home. You're going to get multiple offers because the credit bureaus allow you many days to let people bid for your credit as long as it is within a certain window of time. Experience says 14 to 45 days. If they look and see, oh, you were rate shopping, then that's going to have the same effect on your credit as one hard pull. So if one hard pull would have dropped your credit 9 points, 30 hard pulls will drop your credit the same hard points when you come out of the rate window. So once you get all those bids from home, your bank, your credit union, online, go online, car loans online, LIVESTREAM, all these people. And then whoever wins that bid, you now call the dealership. Hey, I got this rate from my, whatever, ABC Credit Union, ABC Bank. And you see if the dealer banks can beat that, because the dealership has another 9 or 15 banks. And you want to have them calling and saying, okay, all right, let me see if I can beat this. And they're going to call you and do one or two things. And this is going to give you what we do, what we need before we buy. It's the only thing we are looking for when we buy anything: price assurance. They're either going to tell you, hey, look, I got bad news, but it's good news. All right, what? Listen, none of my banks can beat that rate. So, thanks for the opportunity, but, you got a great rate. So we'll get the car ready for you, and, you just let us know what you need. Right, perfect. In which case, price assurance. Are you willing to bet $500 you couldn't have got a lower interest rate? Absolutely. Yeah, I'll take that bet because I got bids. Or they're going to call you and say, listen, great news. Look, you had a good rate, but I got a bank that's going to beat it. They're going to beat it by half a point. They're going to beat it by a point, whatever. If they beat it by half a point, they just saved you another $500. Depending on the loan, could be more. So that's the bidding war. And that's how you don't ask, how much can I save off this vehicle? How much is a good interest rate? You get bids and you let the bids reveal what the bottom of the market is. Everybody clear on that? If you're getting value and you're clear on that, type $signs if everybody's clear. Everybody clear? Type $signs if you're clear. Thank you. Absolutely, Wanderson. I'm glad. Got it. Thanks. All right. Perfect. Sam, got you. All right. Billy D, I see you. Perfect. All right. Perfect. Kenneth, I see you. Wonderful. So this is what it's about, y'all. Listen, we are very committed to those who are committed to their money. If you are committed to your money, you're gonna love what we do. You're gonna love using these strategies. In my book, my new digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, these things are broken down step by step. There's 7 steps to our shopping process, whether you're buying, whether you're leasing, new car, used car, it's 7 steps. And step 7 is delivery. So this isn't a book that you read, it's a book you use, and you cross off steps. And by the time you get to step 7, I'm congratulating you on you're about to pick up your car or you're about to have your car delivered. So using this book, you're going to progress to your car. You don't read it and then go, all right, I read the whole book. Now let me go start shopping. It's not the way this works. So you can get your copy for 75% off. It's normally $97. Go to my TikTok bio. It'll be in your inbox in about 5 minutes. Same thing with Instagram. There's a website there. You guys can go and get yours. And you have the links on Facebook, or you can scan that QR code. If you're watching us on the TV, scan that QR code with your phone. As long as you get there before 30 minutes is up, you got 75% off your copy. So let's go. We'll do. All right. Thanks. Dolan's already on top of it. This one's from TikTok. How should you purchase if you drive 30,000 miles a year? We already answered that. You should watch the replay. I don't want to answer the same question for those who've been on here, but after the broadcast, somebody said they drive 22 to 25,000 miles a year. Go watch that part of the broadcast and get your answer, because it's the same answer. The only difference is if you guys are if you're doing Uber, if you are renting your cars out where you can't predict the miles. Deshone, if I have a good year, I might do 60,000 miles a year. But some years I might do 20,000. Your goal is to put as many miles as possible on the car and you can't predict it, then you should be making sure your loan matches. Here's a very important question for you. You need to ask yourself, And if you're in business, this will make sense to you. When am I going to replace the car? If you say to yourself, I'm going to replace the car in 4 years, then you should not have a loan longer than that. Because what many of you are doing, you know, Uber drivers and you people who are renting your cars, you're taking normal loans, 5 and 6 and 7 year loans, and God forbid you take a 7 year loan. No one should be taking a 7 year loan. You are replacing your car while you still have lots of loan left, and you're putting hundreds of thousands of miles on your car, so you always have negative equity. What you're doing is you're taking a little bit more profit per month, like maybe $200 more per month or $250 more per month, but you're pushing all your losses to the back. So when you're ready to replace the car, you come in and you got a $15,000 balance, and you have to transfer that, and you got to eat that. That's pushing your, what you do is take a shorter loan, 4 year loan. Yeah, your payment might be $250 more per month. That's all right. It's a business move. You're writing this off, and then you can, after 4 years, you say, okay, it's time to replace this car, and it's paid off. So instead of you having a big balance, you have a car that is probably still worth $3,000, $4,000. And that's how you structure this in a way where you win. I want to win while I'm driving, and I want to win later when I go to replace the vehicle. That's what you do. All right. Everybody else, you follow what we talked about for the high mileage drivers earlier in the show. Okay, go ahead. Shoot that one up? No, Beth, it's not 97. You didn't see the emergency link. That's the normal price. You may have missed the countdown. I'm gonna put it here for you again. Let me put the emergency link for you. Because some of you who missed the countdown, I told you, some people go there and they come back and they like, you know, that countdown's still going. So I'm gonna put the emergency link for you. There you go. Try that. All right, TikTok. Should you include gap insurance on your leased vehicle? That's a great question. We always request that gap is included. Now, most leases include gap, but you don't want to assume this. Do not assume that the lease includes gap. Don't do it, because some leases, like, you know, Mazda used to always include gap. I know 3-4 years ago when the pandemic started, they took gap out. And so it becomes problematic when you make a deal for X amount per month, and then you go in to sign your paperwork and they're like, hey, do you want to buy gap insurance? And you're like, wait, thought it was included. So in our template, I have an email template, because everything we do with new cars and leases is email. We always, in there, in that template, is please include gap insurance. If you're getting quotes manually, you always need to make sure gap insurance is included. Don't make, you know, and they're going to, most people are going to say, yeah, gap insurance is included. But for the rare cases where it's not, you don't want to be surprised. So always, always. All right. Well, we just hit an hour. We try to keep these to an hour. And great. This is a great call, a great show. You know, a lot of great questions. You know, we can stay on all day, but certainly we want to keep these live streams coming. Whenever you see them, jump on. We get all types of questions. So even if you're watching a rebroadcast, you're going to find that you can get your questions answered in a lot of cases, because many of you are in the same situation. So we'll keep these going. For those of you who had the book, use it. Please write me. As soon as you get the book, do not DM me, because I don't see DMs. We have thousands of, you know, we just hit 2 million followers. So we're getting hundreds of DMs across all these platforms. As soon as you get your book, you get a support email, because sometimes the book, you type something wrong in the email and it doesn't come. And I want you to reach out to support, and they'll make sure they check and get you your book. But other than that, it's no reason why you won't get it. You know, we've been able to put this in a lot of people's hands. Thank you for all the gifts, and email me with your deals. When you pick up your car, the difference with using these strategies is you're no longer going to be just excited about the car, but ashamed of the deal. What I mean is, ashamed of the deal, you'll see tons of people, and you may have been in a situation where, hey, got a new car. Let's not talk about what we paid for it, because you're not that proud, you're not that confident. When you do this, you'll be sending me, Deshone, look at this lease, just pick this up, 1.2%. Hey, Deshone, look at this new car I just purchased. You know, lowest, it was out of 7 offers I got, This dealer beat them all. Look how much I saved. Boom. Sean, look at this used car. I got, X% off true value percentage. This is how you're going to talk. And it's empowering, and this is what you deserve. So for those of you who have the book, please email me when you get your copies. When you get your cars, and I look forward to reading your success stories and congratulating you. So we'll see you on the next broadcast. And those of you who want to watch the replay, it'll be up on YouTube or it'll be up on Facebook. Check it out, and I'll see y'all next time. God bless.